Digoto'i, Ayashti, Yanayegi, Agwatoa. Welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. Today, we're going to take a trip all the way to Matinecock, Long Island, and we're going to have a special guest from that nation. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
So, we're back. And now I'm going to introduce my guest, longtime dear friend, Chief Reggie, Answers with Medicine Season.
Asio, Winganao, Ninja Shizi Kikai Reggie, Nino GIA, Matinecock Wasi Wanahaki, Na Wallatapum Wunda Pue. Greetings, I'm Chief Reggie. I'm Chief of the Turkey Clan of the Matinecock people of Siwanahaki, we call, or Long Island.
Nice, nice. And for the viewers, give them a little bit of information about who the Matinecock people are, where they are geographically located in the New York area. For starters.
Mm. We are the people of the rolling hills, and actually, we're from Newtown Creek, which is off Northern Boulevard, Long Island City, but a small tribe in Socrates Sculpture Park, which is another part of Long Island City. They joined with us so they can build their alliance because they needed more people. They needed to be part of a larger tribe. And we go all the way out to Smithtown or Jamestown. So all that's part of Long Island is ours, and particularly all along Northern Boulevard, all traveling all the way out. That was all our territory. All our families lived around that area. Yeah.
Okay. And recently they had a renaming of Northern Boulevard, and if you can pull up the picture, Matinecock Way, that would be let me see, that one is, it's called
Yes.
Matinecock Way. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, so y'all recently renamed Northern Boulevard. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about how that came about?
Yes, that was due to the good efforts of some of the politicians that were out there, and they worked with us to rename Matinecock, that road to Matinecock Way, so that people would remember the First Nations people that were there. Yeah, and then signed just cousin Chief Harry Wallace and Roberto Barrio Mucro there, and on the other side, and then in the center, our principal chief, Chief Osceola Townsend.
Can y'all pull that picture up again? Yeah. So give us those names again. I know that's you have Chief Wallace there. He's Puspatuck. Can y'all
Yeah,
explain the relationship?
He's actually a cousin. Chief Harry is a cousin. That's a whole funny story. He really is a cousin. His family was a couple of houses down from my mother and our family who were out there, and his mother actually knew me by sight. That's like a couple generation older. You know what I mean? And she just saw. She said, "You're blah 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 blah," and then she said, "And your mother had two brothers, and she, just by sight, she could go all the way back. So every time I got an opportunity to talk to her, it was really incredible because she could tell me family history. You know.
For the viewers, that he's talking about the gentleman in the on the extreme left, wearing the ribbon shirt,
Yeah,
purple. If you can,
ribbon
yeah,
shirt. Yes.
right there on the left.
Yeah. And
Yes, and in
ironically,
the
Chief Harry grew up, went to school with my wife. Has a story like the creator plans things, and you follow the right road. So he went to Long Island City High School, the same as my wife.
mm.
And actually, the whole picture was, so after you're married, you get to take and tell the wife everything. So I took out one of the books that we had that they wrote about us, about the Matinecocks, and it had different cousins. And in the book, it had a picture of Chief Harry Wallace because he's a distant cousin, right? So Tony looks at me and just says, "I went to school with a Harry Wallace." He said, "In fact, he was the type of friend that I had that always had watched my back."
Wow.
Well, and we looked at it and she said, "That's the same Harry Wallace I went to school with." She hadn't seen him since high school, So things get a little bit more. You realize that someone's planning this for you and you're not doing it. Because my oldest son, who Nakoma, I was a good, bad dad. If you didn't want to go to school, well, forget me now. I was like, well, then you don't go to school. But you ain't going to play. You have to do everything I do. And you're responsible for what you didn't find out when you were in school. So you got to contact your buddies and get, the homework and everything. So the Coleman was like, okay. So, yeah, no problem. So the Chief Osceola called and said, well, I'm going out to visit Harry. He said, because I know that you don't know him and you should know him. He's your cousin. So, of course, Nakoma had to come with me. We went out there, and it says, Tony, my buddy, I haven't seen her in so many years. And he looks at Nakoma and says, who's that? I said, that's my son, Nakoma. He's like, whoa. We went around to the back, and he takes us to the house. He pulls up in the yearbook, right? And it's like, when you look at it, it's like, these look like the same guy. Because we're cousins.
Wow.
We're cousins. We really are cousins. So, yeah, that was quite a funny story to happen.
Yeah, wow. And in the middle there is also Chief Osceola.
Chief Osceola. He's our principal chief. Yep.
And you're related to him as well.
Yeah, he's a Townsend. We're blood relatives. Yeah, of course we're blood. Yeah. We're the same bloodline. We're actually closer than Harry, with the same bloodline. Yeah. Townsend, Waters. There are a bunch of family, but Townsend, Waters, Hageman are all mixed in. And in the back in purple is my son Tecumseh, who he's the wampum maker. In back of Mugro in the purple shirt.
Right. And so what I wanted to look at now is the gallery of chiefs. So with this gallery of chiefs here, and then you have a very nice website, by the way. It comes from your website, your nation. So can you explain for the viewers a little bit of the background of this gallery of chiefs?
Yeah. I can't hear you too clear, but the one
the gallery of chiefs.
Yeah, it's Chief Takapushu. Of course, they don't have pictures of him, so that's like a rendering that they have of him.
He's the one all the way up top, the very first one.
All the way up top in the corner, yeah. And then the oldest Waters, there's a picture of him. And then Chief James Wild Pigeon. he did a lot of exploring, and there's so many things that he did. He was in court. He really helped the tribe a lot. And then John Standing Waters, and then I believe next to him is Little Moose William Townsend.
In the
and then,
middle.
in the middle, and then Chief
On the second
Osceola
row.
Townsend, and then myself and Chief Martin Lone Wolf of the Wolf Clan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And you also had a book with a couple of the chiefs that you wanted to talk about as well.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the things is the Lost Spirits. That was done by Donna Barron, is our family historian and genealogy, and her son Eric made a film that really tells all about the family. The Lost Souls, Lost Spirits. But it tells more than that, because as you know, native tales, they start off good, and then you realize at one point all the stuff that they did to us.
Yeah.
So, but it's really pretty good, and I say that not only because I'm in it and our family is in it, but it's about the family. It's by us, about us. You know, which anybody
Right.
that really wants to take and find out native stuff. You know, there are people that have helped out the native people. They're writers, they're educators. But if you can find stuff about us, by us, that's really good to take and check that out. You know? Yeah.
Exactly. And you had a book there also.
Well, there's a couple of books. I don't know whether. Well, I have my picture book here. I don't know if you were trying to like this, but this is my album of the whole family thing here.
Woo! Wow.
All the family photos, from the beginning of our thing, and when I was younger, and wampum, and you can't. But this goes back to and our relations at the community house. I know you can't read, you can't see a whole lot of this, but it tells. I have articles and everything like that tell about the whole family, like that. But also, I must mention that Donna Barron, one of our cousins, does a lot of writing, and she has a number of books, children's books and articles and books about the Matinecock. So if anyone's interested, that's something you want to take and check out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe we can definitely get into that. We could put it in the roll it at the end.
Yeah.
The name of
And don't forget, I know Eric has a new version of Lost Souls, Lost Spirits. This is about us. It's so many things that he mentions, but you do get to see some of the things that you wouldn't realize that they did to us, and some of the things that are still happening. Many of the families in it, I'm in it. She interviewed Chief Osceola, the Waterses, some other family members. Yeah. So it's I recommend it highly. The Lost Spirits, if anyone's interested in finding out about the tribe, that's something you want to take and look at. Yeah.
How many? Do they have a lot of people in your nation who are still speaking the language other than yourself?
That's the thing that's sad. I can talk about me and my clan. You know what I mean? Because we're spread all around, and we're really trying to revitalize the language. You can handle the whole truth, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about our language until I was older, and then I found out. In fact, when I was young, growing up, my mother, she taught me how to make a beaded necklace, and we had some things like that. And of course, I knew who we were because we visited the relatives. And Well, I can tell you the thing. We visited the relatives and we visited people. And there was a period of time in my life, I thought everybody had Native American stuff in their house
Mm.
until I moved to the projects. And I visited my friends next door who were German. And I was like, I don't want to say anything, but they must be poor. They don't have any Native stuff in their house. You got Native stuff, right? I said, well, they're good people, but I guess they just must be, they don't have any Native stuff in their house. And then I realized until we moved to the projects, we
Mm-hmm.
only visited Native people.
Mm.
So back
Wow.
then, if you were Native, you weren't even letting people know that you were Native.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yep. That's
that was
true.
that was a change in the time. And so my mother didn't speak any of the language. Her
Mm.
brothers didn't speak any of the language. Of course, Chief John and Chief James did. You know what I mean?
Okay. Hold
Chief
that
John.
thought because we're gonna have to take a break. And everyone, don't go anywhere because after the break, Chief Reggie is going to consecrate the space and with some nice indigenous flute playing. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. So we're gonna have a nice treat right now. Chief Reggie is gonna throw down.
Okay.
Flute
Now you're
playing.
gonna get in trouble because flutes are alive, and I've got two of my flutes out here.
Okay.
Whichever one I don't play, the other one's not gonna play for me later on. They're like kids.
Mm. Oh
So
wow.
I'm gonna have to take and give you a little taste of both. For the better
Okay.
sound, change sideways, because I know for the mic and thing, because we're not direct mic.
Sure.
And this is my bird flute. I'll play a little tune with that. I don't know if you can get the whole picture. This is like a morning song. So that's a bird song. And I'm just gonna
Okay.
give a little taste of this if I can, so it won't
Sure.
get
You
mad.
have take as much time as we have. We have like 5 minutes to
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about this.
Okay.
This flute was created by, the story goes that there was a man, and not through his own fault, all of a sudden his daughters died, and they caught something, and then his wife died.
Mm.
And he was so sad that he didn't know what to do. So he would take and he was with the people with the teepees, not
Mm-hmm.
like the roundhouses like us. So when
Yeah.
they would move, he was so sad, he would put his tent away from the other tents so that they couldn't hear him moaning and sighing because his family is gone.
Mm.
So it came to him how to make this flute with two voices in it.
Oh
And
wow.
that way he wouldn't be alone by himself anymore.
Mm. beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
So that was just a taste of the two flutes, and the flutes is a whole story within themselves. You know,
Mm.
that's you could do a whole thing on the flutes, and the
Wow.
medicine, and the flutes of
Mm.
healing, and so the magic of healing, the magic of medicine. But one thing that the flutes speak all languages, and the flutes do soothe the heart.
Yes, yes, yes.
And on a very funny, real basis, I can tell you a story that you would appreciate being a New Yorker.
Okay.
So I used to take and play at a club in Staten Island. You know, there was a bookstore and they had like a flute circle that we played there. So of course, when you're going to take the ferry,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be real about it. If you're a person of color and you got like a case, need I say more? They're gonna want to check out that case. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
I became kind of a little wise guy. So the officer will be there with their dog, and they say, "Oh, what do you have in that case there?" And I say, "Something to soothe the savage beast."
Mm.
So now
Mm.
they're not like half liking this. I said, "Your dog can smell it, but then if your dog smells it, I have to open it up." And they're like, "Okay." So I'd open it up, and I take the flute, and the dog would be like, and I go. And the dog's ears will perk up. They're dogs. They love animal music.
Right, right, right.
And on my way back, if it was the same dog, I'd have to play again because he'd come over and he'd start sniffing. The head would go up. He want to hear the music again.
Wow, amazing. We're gonna take one more break, and then we'll come back and we'll continue. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Okay, so we're back and we are continuing our interview with Chief Reggie, Dances with Medicine, Caesar. So Chief Reggie, before you were talking about the language, before you got into so you were saying that um, your ancestors spoke the language, then later on it started to get lost. And y'all are trying to revive it.
Yeah. The language was lost, but it wasn't lost because one of the things that you realize is that, to coin a phrase from one of the other languages, Maki or Yashi, we are all related.
Yes, yes.
And even though, like, our family was starting to lose our relatives up north, because we're actually part of the Lenape, Muncie, Delaware family,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them shot up to Canada and, of course, in Ramapo Nation.
Right.
So they're revitalizing then. Our teacher actually is in New London, Canada.
Mm,
And she
wow.
comes down, and she used to come down, and we used to go up there, but now it's all on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
And she speaks the Lenape, Muncie, Delaware, Lenape.
Mm.
So we meet with her a couple of times a week, on Zoom. But I used to be in person on Zoom. And then Chief Harry, the Uncompahgre, they spoke the same language, which is Coastal Algonquin. A lot of the Algonquins. So Chief Harry and Lizbeth, they do classes at Stony Brook and do classes over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually at a point where we're starting to take and bring back both of the languages that we had. You know.
Nice. Now we only have. Wow, I can't believe we only have 2 minutes left. I can't believe that. It's funny how time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah,
I want you
time to
to,
hear about the other Reggie, or we'll have to come back for stage 2.
yeah. I guess we can briefly talk about you. Talk about Sensei Reggie, the healer and martial artist.
That's a whole in itself there.
Okay, well, we'll save that for the next time. But
I'll tell you a little bit about the other Reggie, because there's a point where it transfers over. So the other Reggie is Reginald K. Caesar, LMT, licensed massage therapist, Asian bodywork, shiatsu sensei, certified Chinese pharmacology, St. Agnes Hospital, and actually I work with herbalists and naturopaths, you know, and I do injury medicine through the martial arts. I learned, and I went to school in Canada, I learned injury medicine. So that's kind of like the other Reggie, and a point where they do intertwine is that I do practice Native American bodywork. I do some Native American medicine. And one of the things that I will say, just a little tease with this, is that before the people in the longboat, before the people in the big boat, we practiced sophisticated medicine.
Exactly. They're giving us the rap. They're giving us
frequency medicine.
Frequency medicine. So on that note, we definitely have to have you come back. And I'm sorry, folks, but we're out of time. And we will have the chief back with us. Okay, so until the next time, go to the